Morgan.
Morning.
Good morning. Or whenever you're listening to this. Um, we this weekend, so we normally record earlier, but we've been so busy. And one of the things that we've been like really like every weekend busy with is like college visits.
Yeah. Scheduling.
Like going to see campus tours and taking our youngest to, he had this like all colleges are the same kind of attitude. Like when we were talking, we were like, where do you want to apply? And he was like, does it matter?
Yeah.
And it really does.
It does. Especially
Um,
after viewing a couple in person. We still got some more on the docket.
mhm. And so I guess today we were going to talk about some stuff that's kind of come up. So our oldest, if you don't know us, our oldest has been in college for a couple of years now. Um, our youngest is getting ready to go to college. And so, this has been kind of the world that we've been treading and trying to help them and give them the best advice that we can give as two people who have made it through college twice. We both have a bachelor's degree and then went back to school for like a post-bac kind of program and master's degrees. So we've navigated it. We've talked to them about it. And so I figured we would kind of share some of this stuff in case you're in that same journey, if you're in the same boat, or if your kids are in the same boat and you're getting ready to talk to them about it. I know that like I work a lot with like our what's called an AVID program, and not everybody has parents that have gone through college, and that's a lot of like the kids that I work with for that program are often like first generation college students, which is what you were.
Mm-hmm.
And then so sometimes as a parent, like if you haven't treaded those waters, it can be hard to know.
Yeah, it's just
kind of how to navigate. So we figured we'd share a little bit.
A lot of voices, there's a lot of things out there. Everything from FAFSA to.
There's a lot.
Yeah, it's a lot.
So more than probably we can cover in 20 minutes, but we figured we'd kind of just share like some normal things that happen when your kids go off to college. Like I do think there's a bigger conversation about like college and stuff, and we are like this podcast probably isn't necessarily the space for like how to fill out your FAFSA, but you should look into that. But we figured we could at least talk about like from our own relationship perspective and from a relationship perspective with kids, how do you navigate once they're A, starting to think about college, but B, once they're in college. So that's what we're going to talk about.
Yeah.
So, where do you want to start?
I guess a good starting point would be, I don't know, we could go two ways. We could go like college versus trades. Like college versus no college. We could do not knowing what you want to, like the kind of the existential, like what do I want to be when I grow up? What do I want to do?
Mm-hmm.
Which could go that route too, because that.
Well, what if how about this? I think those are both good, and they actually come up both in our own history, right? Like
Yeah, true.
So when I was in high school, I decided to do the trade route because I was not good at school. I had a C average in high school. I applied for one college and they wrote back kindly and said like, you do not qualify. And so I didn't think that college would really ever be in my future. And so I went to trade school first. And that was a great thing for me. Trade school was fantastic. So I actually got my cosmetology license, worked for a lot of years in hair salons, doing skincare, doing hair care, doing everything. Never nails, actually. I didn't really, because of the smell. I don't like the smell of fake nails. It's that acrylic-y. Ugh. Anyway, good on you if you can handle it. It bothers me. So I did that though, and when we met, that's what I was doing.
Yeah.
And you were finishing up a 4-year degree.
Yeah, and even after that, you were the breadwinner.
I actually made more
money than I did.
For the first few years of our marriage.
Yeah.
Yeah, as a hairstylist than you did as a cartographer.
Yeah. There's pros and cons to it. You had your own hours, but you got to choose your hours for the most part, but then also,
Yeah. I mean, the nice part is like with a young family, we could work kind of opposite schedules. So, especially before the kids were in school, I could work in the mornings and then, or I could be home in the mornings, you work in the mornings. And then, like, when you got home from work, I could
yeah,
go to work. And that was nice and still make a decent living because I was then working when everybody was off anyway. So that
Yeah.
worked really well. And for a lot of years. But the hard part with that is that like once the kids were in school, now it was like do I just like what do I do with myself during the day? Because like I couldn't just switch my hours because most of my clients were also working, and so now I was just like completely missing my kids. And you took over bedtimes, you took over like all of that because like I was at work.
yeah,
Not and so it was like and then I wasn't there when they got home from school, and I wasn't, so and like weekends I wasn't there, and it just started to weigh on me as a parent to not, like you said, I could call my own schedule, but only to a point.
yeah.
When you're in the service industry, you have to work certain hours.
Yeah, where the clients need you to be. Yeah, like people have Saturday off. That's when you needed to work.
Yeah.
Friday evenings.
Yeah, like if you got to be available when people are available. So that was like for me ultimately what led me to get my bachelor's degree. But yeah, it was like really good money for a little while, and I met amazing people. I 100% loved it. And I would say that like if you're not ready for college, like we've talked to both of our kids about that. Like there's trade schools out there.
Yeah. There's a need for it, and there's money.
There's a huge
to
need
be
for
had
it.
for it. So
yeah,
it's definitely a choice.
yeah. So definitely something to look into if your kiddos are looking into that and they're not sure what to do. Have them do a trade school first. It's quick. It's like a year or two.
And it's paid usually sometimes.
Sometimes mine wasn't. I had to pay for it, but some of them are like they pay you to actually go to the school and do the training and do the You start like on the job right away, which is pretty cool. You did it differently.
No, yeah, I first generation. I was the first person in my family to go to school, but I also was highly entertaining the Marines as a reserve. Because that's where a lot of the older people that I'd hung out with in high school were going. So I was like, that's, a decent route.
That was your rejection letter.
Yeah. And then
you get Tyler claim to fame. He got rejected from the Marines.
Yeah. I had broken my arm in 8th grade and had a bunch of foreign objects in my arm. And so just even though I could physically qualify, the foreign objects piece was an obstacle, and I wasn't going to have surgery to have them removed again. So that kind of took it off the table, even though to me that was the way to pay for college, because that would have, it's a good way to direction if you want to go to school and the money's not there. With the GI Bill, I don't know if it exists anymore. Probably does.
I think so, yeah.
And so then I started applying for colleges. I was the opposite. School was always kind of easy. So everywhere I applied, I got accepted. It was just more of what could I afford. So anything out of state was, even though I was accepted, was not an option, especially with no scholarships or anything. So I ended up going to, the local state college, and I graduated in 4 years. So
that's pretty unheard of.
And
worked the whole time.
Had a job the entire time and had a lot of fun, which was the Marines might have been a better option to like maybe straighten me out a little bit quicker, but it all adds up to the experience in life and
we wouldn't have met
and stuff like that. Yeah. And so
there's that.
It worked out.
Because we met, so you were finishing up your degree in natural resources,
which was my second choice.
Which was your second choice? What was your first choice?
It was marketing. And I couldn't pass calculus. And so
math.
I wanted business, but I also couldn't pass that math. And truth be told, I chose recreation, tourism, natural resources is because his logarithms was the math you had to pass. And that was, to me, in my mind, was just a button on the calculator. And it was so easy, even though, truth be told, I basically memorized every math test. that the
Like, you
math
just
center
took it
opened. I took it that many times
enough times to memorize it.
that I knew the answers for the multiple problems, and that's how I passed college math.
I swear math classes in college are evil, though. That was my one. I had a 4.0 in college when I finally went back. So you had your bachelor's. I didn't go back for my bachelor's until I was 26 and decided to go back to school because I wanted to like have a different career, right? It was like I got to be there for my family. So I decided to go back to school. I had a 4.0. I was studying organizational leadership and had great GPA. I was like floored that I could even do it, and I was so excited. And then my stinking math class, I took so to be fair, they were like, you have to take one math class for this degree, and it could be any math class you choose. And I was like, in my brain trying to like, what would be the easiest one? Because I've just never been that kind of brain, I guess. I took statistics, which it turns out is pretty rigorous. And I got an A, but I didn't know that if you get a low A, I got an A minus. I passed it with a 90.5. And it took my GPA. I went from a 4.0, and then I ended up having to graduate with a 3.98 GPA, and that stinks.
Yeah.
Stinking math. You math people. Anyway,
so those are our college experiences.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, like within
how
that.
we chose them.
For that first round. Yeah. Like I went back during my bachelor's. I did change my mind as well. So I halfway through decided to pursue English literature. Transferred to a new college, hated it, and then transferred back. So I still got my degree in organizational leadership.
Yeah.
And then you made it to a master's degree in teaching way before I did. You actually did yours before I even did my bachelor's degree. So you changed your mind again. You went from natural resources
to a post-bac program
to teaching.
It was a teaching license master's degree within like 18 months.
Yeah. So what made you change your mind to go from natural resources to teaching?
I mean, there's a lot to that, I guess. When I was in college, they had like marketed it as like the degree as like there's this bubble of people who are going to retire soon
with natural resources.
Yeah, so like within the Forest Service or like the BLM or whatever, and so there's going to be a ton of job openings for you for like my generation to walk in.
Mm-hmm.
What happened is, this is like 2004. They didn't retire. Everybody was staying in their jobs a little bit longer, and so, I mean, there was jobs openings, but there wasn't as what was expected, and so I ended up taking something that was related in a way, and it ended up being nights. It ended up being me in a cubicle.
Yeah.
There wasn't any being a very social person,
you
going from
miserable.
High school and liking being around people to college and fraternity and just a social butterfly to being in a cubicle at night by myself. And then when we had common break times, we weren't able to discuss a lot of the stuff we did was different confidential, different level of clearances since it was for the Geospatial Agency. So the things we digitized were maps of other countries, and so we couldn't talk about it if the person didn't have the same security clearance, and so it was weird. And then I did another gig that was FEMA maps, and it was better because it was local, but it was also more of if you've ever seen the movie Office Space, it was like that, where it was very controlled environment, couldn't have things on your cubicle walls.
Well, I remember too, you didn't get paid anymore. There was no kind of that same Office Space. There's no bonus for us going over.
No, yeah, you could be the number one employee, and there was no ladder to climb. There was no incentives, so it was just kind of
so a lot of people, you were saying, would finish their work and then just hang out and watch movies.
Basically, that was what it was. Like I could do 8 hours at work in like 4 hours, and then a friend
Sorry
and I,
if you are a former boss.
and a
you
friend and I
stumbled
would
upon this.
we would just watch bootleg movies for 4
Yeah,
hours
like
a day
you
or
knew
TV.
all. It was like a point in our relationship in which Tyler knew all the movies. Like we should have joined trivia things for like current
Yeah.
movies because he knew all of them.
And there was no like, I take it like there was incentives. Like if you did your map in a certain amount of time and finished, you got like a pay bump.
Mm-hmm.
But there was like I was finishing my work and getting that pay bump, and still having like 3-4 hours a day of nothing, and there was no like
Next level.
secondary bump.
Yeah.
So I was like, I'm like, why do all the work? And there's
Yeah.
no ladder to climb. It's like
Which
basically
I think is kind of
me
evidence
and then
for
my,
like
my
more
boss.
of a shorter work week too. But
Yeah.
so you decided to change. Why teaching?
At that point, yeah. So then, I don't know. Like I had a friend. His name's Dan, and he was substitute teaching. He's somebody I lived with in Vail, and in Vail between college and graduation, I did an internship at a Lion's Head ski school. So he was substitute teaching, working with me at the ski shop, and I was just working at the ski school. And then my mom had a licensed daycare.
Mm-hmm.
So I was around kids a lot. And at that time we were dating, and your mom was a principal, and so she was like,
which is why I didn't want to get into education.
Yeah. And so there was just like my mom, your mom, my friend, and then like there was just a bunch of people in education.
Yeah.
And I liked being around kids. And so yeah, I just played with that idea for a while and decided, you know what, it may not pay well, but at least there's perks in education, and it's social, and it's making a difference.
Yeah.
So I switched.
Yeah, and then I watched you do that for a number of years, and meanwhile I had been working in ministry, working as a writer, did a lot of nonprofit kind of stuff, but still kind of felt like it was something that I always felt drawn to, but like I said, I didn't want to do it because it was like my mom did it, and my like people that knew me would be like, you should really be a teacher, and I was like, you know, like it was like family members, and I was like, whatever, I'm not gonna do that. Because I wanted to go my own way. You can go your own.
I'm listening to that song too right now.
It's a good song. But I ultimately gave in, and like after we moved to Berlin, there was like that opening of like, you have time, because I couldn't work when we were there at first. I ended up getting a job at the same school as like a long-term sub once I got my teaching credential kind of underway. But yeah, like I eventually was like, oh, okay, and I've loved it ever since. But I think that the reason that like, so something that we've shared with our kids is exactly that, like this story of like change. Our son, like he went off to college. Our oldest went off to college as a pre-vet and is currently studying music production. And I remember
changed schools.
And I remember when he first came home and told us like, I don't want to do this and I want to change and here's what I want to do. I think he expected us to be mad.
Yeah, or this is what I thought you guys wanted me to do.
Yeah, he was like, I was doing vet because that's what you wanted me to do, not because that's what I want. And we were like, dude, change your mind. Like, it's okay.
It's like...
And so I think one of the things as parents, like one of the best ways we can support our kids is letting them have that process.
That control and what's going to make them happy. Like,
yeah.
He still loves animals and he still has a heart for it, but it's like...
He still works with animals.
But yeah, it's like,
his job.
if that's not what... And then he also had like kind of a job internship at a large animal vet, so he got to see what the future would have been like, and it wasn't what he expected. So like he changed,
and that's okay. And I think like as a parent, if your kiddo's going off to college, one of the best ways to support them is just let them know that it's normal, and that they are like I joke, but it's kind of true. Like I still don't know what I want to be when I grow up.
Yeah, like it's like, what do I do in my next
chapter?
Who
knows what the future will hold?
What's going to be our third?
For
my third career, I don't know.
I'm gonna go on record and say I definitely don't want to go into administration.
Me neither.
I don't really have a desire for that. I love kids more than I love working with like the other side of it, the paperwork side of things. But who knows?
Yeah, it could be entrepreneurial. It could be
I could go back to get my PhD and become a professor. I think that would be cool to be like
yeah,
Dr. Messenger, you know? But like, we'll see.
yeah. Maybe Ty's Pies will come back.
Yeah, maybe we'll open a pie shop. Who
Maybe
knows?
it'll be something service driven.
And I hope that if you're listening to this, you also know that you have the freedom to change whatever you
Yeah,
want.
you could be like we are in our 40s and like, you know what?
We're on our third careers.
We could second for mine.
Third for me.
For you,
So,
so.
you know.
There's yeah, keep going.
And I might have
keep
a fourth,
learning.
and you might have a third, and we
Yeah.
might have a fifth. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I think it's good that we model that for our kids and expect that of them too. They're going to change their minds.
Yeah.
So as Evan's looking at colleges, that's been one of the things we really hammer home is like start with an intention, but like and go all in. Like when you have the idea of what you want, pursue it with all your heart. But then when you change your mind, that's okay. But then go pursue that with all your heart. Like
Yeah.
just keep moving forward.
And I think Evan's doing a good job of like he works in the school system right now. Like he works at an after school program at an elementary school, so he's getting
experience
and a little bit of
talking
focus,
about
and so I think
doing
that's helping
education.
him.
He might follow in the footsteps and be a teacher.
Or like somewhere in the nonprofit like service
He also likes
piece.
that.
So
Yeah.
at least he's getting his feet wet before he decides, and I think
Mhm.
that'll help. But I think also
Who knows?
feel free to change because he's talked about doing film study
For a long
or
time, we
things
all
like that.
we
so
were kind of surprised when he didn't want to do film studies.
do
'cause
both,
he's
or-
an actor. Yeah. But
major and then minor, or
mhm.
just join all the
teach film one day.
or
Yeah.
join all the clubs and do both in that aspect.
Yeah.
So there's
So,
options.
The world is bigger than we often make it, and
Yeah.
options are bigger than we make them. And if you are stuck or you feel like you're unhappy,
You gotta stay
change your
flexible
mind.
because the world changes, so we should
We adapt.
adapt.
So that's a little bit of that, and there's way more to talk about, but
Yeah.
we don't want to take up your whole day. So stay tuned. Maybe we'll talk a little bit more about this in the next episode, or maybe not. Who knows? Because often
I have
we
ADD,
don't know.
so
Obviously, we change our minds a lot. So
it's
love
true.
you guys. Have a good whatever day this is for you.
Yeah. Bye.
Bye.